the keys are to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time, and it's a great conversation today as we talk about possible special teams studs for the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this huge part of the game. Every 49ers team that's been successful has had a great special teams coverage unit, kick unit, punt unit, PAT field goal. Everything's been nice. You go back to the Harbaugh era, they used to run 2 first-team All-Pros at the kicker and punter position. So this is huge for them.
Absolutely. It's big time. And you know what else is big time? Hitting that subscribe button right now and hitting that like button. That way you're here and ready for all of the great things we got to cover with the 49ers. So guys, who do we have? And I'll start here with Ant. We'll go with you first. All right, we'll round table it around a horse and then back to myself. Who's one guy right now to kind of look for with this special teams unit that could be a stud?
I think Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles. Going through and watching his film when we were doing breakdowns, I saw the way that he covered punts and kicks, and he's very good at it. He makes a lot of tackles, and that is kind of his niche to be able to make this roster. And if he doesn't execute it well, he's not going to be on this roster. But he's got a lot of speed for his size. He's able to get down there and make plays, and he's a guy that you can count on to make tackles. And so he's very invaluable to this 49ers special teams and somebody I think can be impactful in a way that he's going to make this roster.
I'm going to throw all of you off right now and go with Elijah Mitchell as a return man.
Ooh, okay.
If you watch Elijah Mitchell's highlight tape in college, he has all the skill sets to be a fantastic return man. He was great at making people miss. He's explosive. He's quick. He did return some in college and did a good job. And that's a position the Niners have been lacking at, honestly, is the kickoff return guy. And I think he could come in and improve that position right away, even if he doesn't get a lot of carries during the game.
I like that one a lot. That's one that isn't being talked about as much as it potentially could. And in fact, most people, instead of talking about that specific guy horse, want to talk about Brandon Ayuk returning punts when you have a guy in Elijah Mitchell who very well could be a kick or punt returner that could have a big impact. But another name to keep an eye on and to watch, potentially Ambry Thomas, especially if he's not a guy who wins that position.
True.
He could be a speed guy on the outside as a gunner on punts, could be useful as well in the special teams game. I think he could just do a lot of different things. And if they're very comfortable with Emmanuel Moseley at 2, that could be a way for him to have even more of an impact on this roster. I don't know if it will happen per se, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on because he could be a stud on the special teams area.
Well, you're right, because Ambry Thomas also has return skills.
He does.
So in the punt and kick return game, he could be definite impact player out there. You're right. If you're going to keep a skill player like that, they have to be able to have an impact on special teams. Another guy to think about is Juwan Jennings. The guy is a physical freak as far as size, speed. Not as fast as you would like, but he can definitely get out there and make plays. And the one thing that sticks out to me is when John Lynch is talking about him and saying if he's not a receiver for us, he's a safety. That's that mentality that you want to have. Those are the kind of guys you want on your special teams. We all remember the Tony Montana squad, that they were all out there about being physical, going down there, making plays. And this guy could do that for you. This is also a way for him to work his way onto the team. He needs to impress Hightower, make sure that he gets onto the special teams, make it impossible for the 49ers to not keep him. Success on offense is important, but success on special teams might be what separates him from the rest of the wide receiver unit.
I think another big-time name is Talanoa Hufanga. I think that he's got one of those guys. Obviously, he didn't play much special teams at USC because he was their best defensive player. But he's got the skill set to be a fantastic special teamer in the NFL until he gets to his turn to maybe where he's starting one day. But he's big, he's physical, he's fast, he's smart, and he's one of those guys that likes to get hyped and lay big hits. And that's a perfect spot for a guy like that on the kickoff team. He's one of those guys like a Boobie Dixon, Blake Costanzo from that Tony Montana squad that used to run downfield unnecessarily hyped up and lay a big shot on somebody. And, it was funny and stuff, but the whole defense would come out fired up.
They would.
When one of those guys would make one of those plays. And it's a big thing, and I think he'd be successful at it.
Yeah, he very well could be. Talanoa Hufanga is definitely a name to watch. And you know what? There is a chance, too, that you see a Tony Jefferson as well out there, or even a Tavon Wilson, depending on where they fall on this roster. They could also kind of fill in those areas. But I think for me, the guy that needs to be a special team stud, especially if he wants to ensure he can make this roster, Richie James. He's going to need to show something in the return game, because if not, the guy that you had brought up earlier, Elijah Mitchell, Ambry Thomas, all of these guys could have a bigger impact than James could. And if James doesn't solidify himself as the returner, he may be in trouble to make this active 53-man roster.
You're right. If he doesn't go out there and execute on his return opportunities and make big time plays, not just secure the ball and get a little bit of yards. A lot of players can secure the ball and get a little bit of yards. A lot of players can fair catch. Richie James has to be able to have an impact in the return game. And if he doesn't, you're right, he might just work himself right off this football team. There are a lot of other options, I'm sure. I know they brought in Trent Sherfield also as a guy that can help on special teams from Arizona. I think that is his only way to make the roster. He has to impress on special teams. I don't think you're going to get enough in the pass game, enough in the receiving area for him to win the roster spot. So he needs to play at a high level, and he has to play better than the guys we've already talked about, which is a tall order. But he's someone they brought in that's at least a special teams guy. So you have to take at least, I guess, heed of it and pay attention to it.
Absolutely.
If not, we wouldn't be doing our job. So.
No. Yeah, the last two names I was going to mention, and it's kind of they go together because probably whoever does the best on special teams out of these two guys makes the team is Elijah Sullivan and Justin Hilliard at linebacker, because neither of those guys are going to start. But to make the team, you'll need great special teams play. But they both have the ability to. They're both extremely athletic for linebackers. They're kind of more of the new age Fred. They're not as good as him, but Fred Warner type guys that are athletic, quick, move, and closer to strong safeties than old style linebackers. And I think that whoever is the better special teams performer between them, and you might want to throw Jonas Griffith in that group too.
It's true. He's a tackling machine.
He is a tackling machine.
I think whoever does the best job on special teams between those three probably makes the team.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm necessarily convinced on that. There's a lot of talent, a lot of positions.
It's true.
And I don't know if the Niners are going to want to keep a fifth linebacker with the four names that we've kind of been talking about or have talked about a lot, right? With Warner, Greenlaw, Azeez Al-Shaair, and Flannigan-Fowles, especially, Horst, with your guy Talanoa Hufanga potentially being able to hybrid both. There may not be a spot for them, but definitely this is one of those three guys. If they're going to make the roster, Horst, you're right. They got to show out on special teams.
They got to, yeah.
They have to. Like, that's the only opportunity. They're going to have to be not completely unexpendable, special teams wise.
You say potentially having the skill set to do both?
My apologies. Well, definitely.
They also have to play at the Talanoa Hufanga level as far as special teams, and I think everyone believes, like Horst said, that he's going to be a special teams ace. He's going to be one of the big-time players. When you're looking at the potential of what the special teams unit can be and what we talked about in the players that we discussed, think about that. You're going to have a crazy tough group going down there. If you have Flannigan-Fowles, you have Talanoa Hufanga, you have Juwan Jennings, these guys going down there ready to knock someone's head off, in the special teams game. This is the most physically gifted special teams group we could have because of the talent that they've been able to put together. The special teams unit, like Horst said, makes up 1/3 of the football team. A lot of times it goes overlooked and people don't actually look at it. We pay attention to that because it's important. Everything the 49ers do on every aspect of the game is important, and this is big. Having guys like this that can do a lot of things on your special teams is important. And you don't get a lot of veterans that do it, but a lot of these young guys can make their stake and claim to this roster by doing great on special teams.
Because they hungry.
They are hungry.
They hungry.
We hungry.
They got to eat, Horst. They gots to eat. That was the line? That was the line. I got him there. I got him. And look, you can't ever forget about your long snapper Pepper. He's got to be consistent. Robbie Gould has to continue to be the Robbie Gould that we have seen. And for the love of God, Mitch Wisniewski, can we add some power to punts and try and flip the field every once in a while? I'm not saying all the time. I'm not saying every time you kick. But for the love of God, can we not get those 40-yard kicks from inside our own 10 that put the team at midfield? Well, let's push that.
R.I.P. Andy Lee.
Well, here's one of the things is Wisniewski is really good at positioning the ball, right?
Correct.
So the offense needs to move the ball and put Wisniewski in an opportunity to be the most successful pinning people deep. If the 49ers do that consistently, Wisniewski will have a fantastic season. The special teams will be very good. but we do need a return guy to flip the field. We
Accurate,
don't always get that. In fact, we haven't got that very much. Which one of these guys could do it? I know you brought up Brandon Ayuk. That is somebody to keep an eye on. If the 49ers need a big-time play, don't be surprised if at some point you see Brandon Ayuk back there on certain situations. Not consistently, but certain situations.
So we're not going to be that podcast and that show that advocates for Brandon Ayuk to return every kick.
I won't, because I don't want to see Brandon Ayuk get hurt in any situation.
Agreed.
I want him out there catching passes and making plays.
We get Devin Hester?
I think he's retired.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. There's a good chance of that. I think Ted Ginn retired also, so there's less likely of that as well. Let us know what you think of these special team studs down below in the comment section right now. Do you agree with us? These guys right here that we hit all of them, right? We knocked them all apart. Or did we miss someone? Who should we be talking about? Let us know about it down there. And while you're down there commenting away, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to share the video with the rest of the faithful. And go check out the 49ers Cutback Shop at 49erscutbackshop.com. Glorious shirt.
It's true. And, we did forget someone. Deommodore Lenoir.
That's true.
Deommodore Lenoir can definitely help out on the special teams area. If we're going to have Ambry Thomas out there, we're probably going to have Deommodore Lenoir.
Good chance.
So that is somebody we missed. But let us know who else we missed in the comment section, because I am curious what everyone thinks and how important you think special teams actually is. There are some people, like I know Gary knows special teams is important, but I'm curious what everyone else thinks.
Does it help that I have Lenoir's name written on this paper?
Well, it would have helped more if you had actually said it verbally.
Well, I didn't have his name written on this paper.
Okay.
I was just...
Well,
hot dog.
Then that definitely doesn't help.
No, it's the...
I said, would it?
Oh, it probably would have helped.
Yeah.
But, we can't expect you to have all the names written down, right?
Not all of them.
Not all of them. Just a good chunk of them. And Horst had a nice list there, and we covered pretty much everybody on that list.
We did cover
No, we
everybody.
didn't.
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
But I retracted one, so...
Okay.
Hot diggity dog. It is what it is. Hey, listen, this was a fun conversation. Special teams is 1/3 of the game. Let us know what you think. And until next time, 49ers fans, you stay safe.
Remember the right way.
Is always the 49ers way.